I,
I'm in the wrong meeting.
Oh. So let me see, pursuant to chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed into law on June 16th, 2021. This meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. Today is March 24th. It's past 7, it's 7:04. We do have a quorum, and this is the Community Preservation Committee's meeting. So first item on the agenda was to call the meeting to order. I call the meeting to order. Trying to make it fun. And let's see. First up was recreation. I don't know. Is Tim in the?
Yep, I see him. I'll bring him over.
All right, so let's pull over Tim, because I know he's double dipping tonight on meetings, and see if we can get things moving.
All right, he's in.
Hey, everybody. How we doing?
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Doing all right. Long
Good,
time no
good.
see.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming, making the time. And let's see. So I think there was a couple things for the application. If we can just get an update on that. I know I did see emails that got sent out. I don't know if everyone got them or.
I just sent them to you and Freddie, so I apologize. I left everybody off, but I did send the official quotes that were missing. I don't know how that made it by me with the original. So the official quotes were submitted, as well as the current conditions. It was a little presentation that I planned on making, but obviously schedule didn't work last go round. So just some current conditions for viewing. When it comes to letter of support, I have not received it yet from the schools. There's still some conversations going on between Greg and Mark. I'm being informed, but they've put it in an email to me that they have no opposition to the project, as it does, support one of their facilities and the kids. So that's support there. I'm just going to continue hammering them in hopes to get that in writing officially for you all.
Okay, I'm sending you over the email. So
Yeah, I
you
had
can-
them. I just forwarded them to Ben and Mark too. Yep.
Okay. So the proposal or the quote was for 24,000 on each one, right? $24,002, I think.
They were different.
Oh, 24 on one.
Depending on which court you were looking at. I'm trying to bring it up.
Yeah,
24, $338 on one, and 24, $2.
right. So did you then added in a contingency, I take it?
There was a contingency added in, yes. I'm sorry, I just want to bring it up in front of me so I know what I'm talking about. So those were the base prices, the 24 number. If you look on the official quotes, there are options for added things that we did need. So there's a rust inhibitor on one of the courts. We do need to reinstall the posts for the tennis nets, as those were taken out because of the skate park that was there. So you'll see on the actual application, each number differs. So court 1, which is the one that currently has the tennis court, is 25,634, and then court 2, which is the full shebang, just because nothing's there, is 35,666. And then yes, on top of between those two, there's a 10% contingency.
Okay. All right, does anyone on the committee have questions?
No.
Mark?
No,
Oh, okay. Let's see. So I know, and that quote was from, I think this January, right?
Yep. Mhm.
Is there, just knowing how the price of things are increasing and everything else.
Mhm.
I'm not calling you an expert, but do you think the contingency is high enough?
I hope so. Jen and I talked about this last week. I don't think it will be if trends are what the trends are, but Jen and I talked, and we do believe we have sufficient funding within our revolving account so that if there is an overage, we're prepared to take that on. I did kind of ask New England Seal Code if they could project. They said it could be anywhere from a 5% increase to a 30%. They really can't tell right now. It's all based on what's coming. So could be drastic, could be little, but they weren't as upfront to make us comfortable enough to give you a number. So we're in the same thinking as you, but we also don't want to, ask too much for no reason. That's why we kind of feel comfortable we could probably take on the overage that it is.
Okay, because we have a history with one of these courts not getting done in the past because of other things. I know that wasn't you. I'm just saying.
I know that's not my oldest, so that's unfortunately that's why
I
we're
just
here.
want to make sure that it doesn't come back again. And
No,
say,
I
I
know.
mean,
they
like the
won't.
alternative is we put like a 30% contingency on here, and I just feel like it just feels a little bit irresponsible. It's going to get torn apart on the town meeting floor, right?
Mhm.
So that's where we felt like the 10%, like this is what the standard is, it's what we've done. And like, I mean, if it comes back crazy astronomical, we wait 3 months and go back out again and see if we can get a better price, right? Like we have options. We don't have to do the first thing. So
okay.
Just on the topic of contingency, we just have to make sure that it's broken out separately in the warrant article as a contingency.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me, but do we know what the useful life of this will be after it's done? Do we have any idea?
Yes, let me 1 second. I just want to make sure I'm quoting properly. Where is it? Jen, I know I emailed that to you. I don't know if you can bring it up any quicker than I can.
you can look.
There we go. They say it typically 5 to 7 years, but it all depends on use. So if it's super heavy use, which it's not down there, it'd be more towards the 5. If it's light use, it's more towards 7 to 10.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions for Tim? All right, next one is MOU requirements, same for the same thing. So, Freddie, did we have a draft MOU? We hadn't talked about that yet, had we?
No, we haven't, and I think it's just the standard terms, but tonight you could, in the past, we haven't been this proactive, which is wonderful to have this opportunity on this project to get it done before town meeting. And I think you can finalize it between now and town meeting, but I think having the conversation and making points of what you want in there besides the standard language, which is the contingency is only to be used after approval of the committee. It's in compliance with what was presented and in the application. I do have a question though about the contingency, because we have a draft warrant article you're going to have to write tonight, approve tonight to get it to
On the warrant?
on the warrant, and it didn't. I started looking and I watched the meeting. There was no discussion of contingency at the last meeting, so I couldn't put it in. But we'll need to add that language and in the warrant article. So I mean, is it called out in the documents you just sent? I didn't get a chance to read them.
Yeah, it is. I can show you
How
guys.
much is it?
5,592.40 is the contingency on this.
You
Do
say
you see
that
my
again?
screen? Do you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, 5,592.40.
Okay, so we'd have to change the document to read how much is being funded for the project, except taking that out and then adding that in as a contingency for a total amount. And then put the standard contingency language in.
Sure.
I just don't have it handy.
I have it.
What, from another warrant article?
No, you sent it to us.
No, the
The
standard
I
contingency.
don't have the contingency language handy.
Oh, the contingency language. Okay.
That goes into a warrant article, so I'm gonna have to go back to another article and see how we did it. So I can do that, and you guys can approve, you guys, listen to me, sorry, the committee can approve that. I've been watching Goodfellas or something. You can approve that later in the meeting, the warrant article.
Yep.
That's all right, because it's not ready to go, but you understand the contingency is called out separately in the warrant article with the conditions. And the committee might want to discuss if there were any other things you'd want in the MOU at all. And that can be formalized between now and town meeting, I think.
Right. Okay. I mean, while we've got Tim, personally, I would think it's pretty straightforward what we're gonna do. Other than, reseal, repaint, put the lines on, make sure there's pickleball lines too. That's pretty much it, or put the nets in. Is there any fixing of the fencing or anything?
Nope, fencing is sound. There's no issues there. The crash wall for hitting the ball against the wall is fine. The pathway leading to the far court does need some work, but I already spoke to DPW on that, and they're more than happy to do that in kind. So that'll be all set. So it's just like you said, just the reseal, the paint, and the net.
And is there any concern about like having to use, fair wages or anything like that? This company's just gonna go with, we don't have to worry about that, right?
No, no,
Okay.
Prevailing wage,
Yeah.
prevailing wage, yeah.
Okay. Are we certain on that?
I'm pretty sure because they're not moving any earth. It's just
Okay.
that they're employees. So
Okay.
I asked the question and they said no. So,
Fair enough.
All right.
Can I just ask,
So,
is it accurate that it's only a 5-year life for that price?
5 to 7, yeah, is the standard. Yep. Again, it comes down to usage. So
Okay. So last time we heard 20 years. was the last
well,
one.
there's definitely other materials you could put on, but you're going to pay for that.
Okay.
So,
All righty. Thank you.
all right, so there are no more questions on that. The MOU will finalize that in the coming meetings leading up to town meeting. The warrant article, Freddie, are you working on that now?
Sorry, I keep raising my hand. I'm going to in a minute, but I think you need to make a condition on your approval of the warrant article when you get to it on receipt of the letter from the schools, even though you know what's coming, until you have it in hand, you don't have it. School property, correct?
No, it's classified town property.
So what's the letter from the schools then?
They use it. I mean, they're one of the heaviest users just because of gym class. So it's just when we thought of who could be most supportive, it's the second highest user.
It's a support letter, not a right to use letter.
Correct.
Then forget what I just said.
Yeah, okay.
Done.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
So if we voted, I can't remember if we voted to approve this in the past. Or not to approve, to recommend the town meeting. We have not,
did.
right?
You did.
We
You
did.
just
Okay.
didn't have the warrant article you voted to allow me to submit the warrant article to get it in for review. And that happened with Andrew's review. And that's what you're seeing now, except for now I've got to change it and add the contingency in. Okay,
Okay. All right, so, Tim, I don't know if you want to hang around until we finalize the warrant article, or trust Jen that she will advocate for you. I don't see, anything,
Jen, do you want to
drastic.
pull it up if you just want to show them?
Yeah, yep. No, I've got it here. But I mean, like, also I know because Tim's being called into advisory
Right.
and board of selectmen fund.
I got
So.
2 screens going right now, so.
That's what I have. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want you to feel like you gotta
Yeah.
hang around.
Yeah, I trust Jen. So.
Yeah.
And I'm not planning on squeaking anything in there, like I want a frog painted on the court or anything like that either, so. I think it's pretty straightforward. So Freddie, if you can find that wording on the contingency use,
Looking right now, so.
okay.
Oh,
Can I make a suggestion now that I'm looking at it?
yeah,
I'm not sure if we want to take out Mary Ethan Elementary School, just because I don't want people
This should
thinking
be the
CPA was
Mooney.
used on schools, so.
Does Mooney actually have an address?
We use 60 Richards, that's what we're using for the lights, so I would keep
Okay.
60.
What if you just said located behind the Mary, not at?
is it actually on
Oh.
Mooney Field?
Yeah, it's
the
technically,
Mooney complex,
Yep.
so.
Okay. Located at the Mooney Field Complex. All right. Is it really 60 Richards Road though? Because
You can
isn't,
put at or near, that's usually sufficient.
okay.
Are you waiting on me? Because I'm doing the best I can, but,
No, well, I'm just reading it and then.
yeah.
okay.
seeing if
I was
anyone
thinking
else-
like, Freddie, if you could find the one from, was it Calander Field?
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, all right. I was trying to find it too.
I had a. You don't want to know how many files I have under CPC. Was that last year?
Yes,
Yep.
Draft articles.
Fine. Well, you could put at or near in the summary, but it's probably,
Motion detected at the front door.
Yeah, in the summer you want to change
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. Okay. 2 transport services.
Okay. If I read this, can you write it down?
Yes.
Okay, so after it gives the full amount, right?
Yep.
I'm looking at my screen, so I'm not seeing yours.
Nope, it's okay. Yep.
Okay, and it tells you
What it's for?
what it's for recreation purposes as requested by the Recreation Department.
Yep.
This consists of, this is the new place to insert. This
Okay.
consists of the dollar amount
Okay.
in project cost, not the whole amount, right?
Yep.
And an additional dollar amount
Yep.
in contingency funding. And then it says contingency funds only available after approval of the CPC for unexpected cost unforeseen at the time of application. And then the next word sentence should be project to be completed in conformance. Is that in there?
Yep, okay. I'm gonna just move the description ahead of it.
So yeah, we'll say,
Yeah, I mean, like, so for those of you on the screen, should I move this section that's further describing it before the breakdown of money, or do we think it's fine after the breakdown of money?
I think it's fine after the breakdown.
Okay,
So keep
that
all
way
the
you
money
can
together.
see it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me find the dollars. I had it. Then- All right, so contingency.
oh, the project description you thought might be in front of the contingency.
No, it's just got a longer description, so it's okay though.
Okay.
Where's the tennis application? There it is. 559240. Um, 30, 60, right, let me do math.
It,
Looking at 25, 634. Is that like right, Tim? 50, 55, 6. Let me double check this one more time. Yeah, so it's 56,200 is the base. And then
Correct.
55,9240 is contingency.
Correct.
So then this is, yep.
So-
So
well, never mind. You got what you have there anyhow.
Now, the only thing is,
The 40 doesn't add up.
yeah, it doesn't add up to the 6180, 820, right?
56.
That's right. That shouldn't be.
Get rid of the fence, that's better.
So it'll not up.
Okay, let me, okay. So we have 56,200 is the base. And we want,
5,620.
okay, so, okay.
Apologies, I'm not sure where that
Nope.
came from.
It's probably just a slight typo in the application. That's fine. Okay,
Yeah, put this, take the fence out.
yep. Wait a second. So sorry, contingency is.
5620.
Yeah, it's 10%, okay. There we go.
There you go. Perfect. Okay,
So
is there a motion? Mark? You're on mute, Mark. Mark, you're on mute.
Motion to approve the warrant article regarding the tennis courts rehabilitation and restoration as written, as revised.
Is there a second?
Again,
All those in favor? Mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I be difficult?
Hey,
The actual warrant article, it's not called Finn Tennis Courts, is it?
That
'Cause
won't
again-
be, that won't be listed.
Okay, do we know what this art? Okay, so the article is
just
just.
change it
Article
to
4?
Mooney. Just that.
Okay,
change
that's
it
what
to
I was
Mooney.
asking, so we don't cause any problems. Okay,
It will only be called, this is for us, it will be called Article CPC 4, and they'll give it a number. It won't
Okay.
be named.
Mooney Complex, Mooney. All right, I just make sure there's no word of Finn anywhere. Okay. I'm okay with it now. Thank you.
Ben,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
and Andrew is a yes. All right. Congratulations. It's
Well
going
done.
town
Yes.
meeting. Thanks for coming, Tim.
I
Is there
appreciate it.
any
Good to
other
see you
things
guys.
to add for Tim before he goes to a more exciting meeting than ours?
I wouldn't say that, Andrew. Come on.
Well, we gotta have a little fun with this, right? Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
All right.
And,
Bye, guys. Appreciate it.
hopefully you guys have a great summer and get lots of use of all the fields and everything
Well, fingers crossed.
after all the COVID and everything. So thanks for what you do. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
All right. Next item, review edits to articles.
All right, so can I take that, Andrew?
Yeah, you can take it.
So it became clear that we should have taken the adjustment for the wonderful return we got on the state match last year. And this was not diminuous, so we needed to take it to get the 10% into each of the accounts. Not that we didn't have the money in our account, it just, we have to allocate it. So if you go further up, isn't there another?
Oh, there is. Look at that.
Yeah, so I gave you the whole worksheet and you can double check it, but what this has, and I've gone over this with Carla from accounting. So the state match was adjusted. We got an additional 88,505 that we hadn't expected. And it created an additional amount that changed the set asides in all the 10%. And if you go down, we take the 5% as well. And that also changed the amount that should be highlighted, the budgeted reserve. This is highlighted only for your ease of viewing, right? So then if you were on the worksheet, you would have seen that I called out all the different accounts, how the dollar amount went up. But if you go to the CPC2 article, this was well, is everyone clear on the first one? Do you have any questions on it? We got more money we had to account for it. That's what happened there. So if you go to the next one, because the set aside went from 52,831, you can see that in the original article for the bond. We always zero out the appropriate reserved account, which in this case was the historical account, all went to the Burnett House bond. So I upped that, and that reduced the amount that came out of the other account. So the total remains the same. So if you look in the lower article, you can see it was 52,831 and 27,642, but we upped the historic preservation to the balance of the 61,681, and that lowered the amount we needed to take from the fund balance. Is that clear to everyone?
Yep.
Okay. So I also just want to let you know, I had some follow-up conversations because we did take the 35% this year for the state match, and normally we had been more conservative than that. And because we got the high return last year, I did double check. Unfortunately, the Department of Revenue sends out their estimates at the end of March. And it's always way too late for our review, but I wanted to double check and I did, and someone got in touch with me who said I can't tell anyone that they told me that the 35% is the best estimate they have, so we should be good. It might be a little bit off, you never know, but we can always take another adjustment. Just different if it's too high, but I don't think it's much to worry about. That was the state match was at 35% for this year.
Yeah, okay.
The goal was to get away from maybe having to do the adjustments every year, but I think moving forward, and you can see what happens next year, it might just be the best process is to be conservative and take the adjustment every year, because we have to do it so much far in advance of when they have any idea of, what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Except for this year where it got pushed back. So that's that. So if you're okay on that, you need to vote to approve the new budget warrant article and the
Article 2.
Article 2, which is for the Burnett House.
Mark,
So moved.
Ben?
Yeah.
Ben, Ben, did you second that?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, so we've got a motion to approve the adjustments to the warrant article 1 and warrant article 2. I'll go down the list as I see you on my screen. Mark,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
and Andrew is a yes. Excellent. We're moving right along.
Thanks for crunching the numbers.
Yeah, thanks, Freddie, for doing that.
Much easier when it's an increase in our funds available, isn't it?
To be
And,
sure.
yeah,
So the next item is an update on Open Space Preservation Commission's application.
yes,
Ready?
phantom application. Thank you for sticking with it this long. And what I'm here to do is to ask you to understand why we're not moving forward right now. The Open Space Commission had to have a vote at our meeting to ask to postpone it because there are different plans being presented that put maybe an ADA compliant sidewalk right through the middle of the area where we were planning to do a lot of this work, or it might be over to the side, or it could, who knows? So we felt it was best to have a better understanding of the impact from the St. Mark's Road connection to the library. And that after town meeting, we feel confident we can come back and put together and adjust if needed, or present the plan we have right now, which we haven't shown you yet because it was too much up in the air. But what we would like to do is ask for your support in having a placeholder voted today. It's a placeholder, doesn't need to have the language, and you can pull it for fall town meeting. And the reason for that is sometimes the selectmen will open the warrant and then close it for a special town meeting. And we want to be there to drop in. And what if it happens during summer vacation time or you don't have a quorum? So if you vote to keep it as a placeholder, that allows us to present a full presentation after annual town meeting when I think we'll have a better idea of what's happening, if that's acceptable. And the project plan is still the same. There's, I had shown you a PowerPoint with the pictures of the really messy, invasive laden trees and shrubs next to the, at the edge of the grassy area behind the parking lot adjacent to where the new park is going in. And this is to clean it up and put in more pollinator appropriate native plants to fulfill the whole habitat restoration of that lower section of the library grounds. So it'll be beautiful and provide scientific opportunities for all to be involved in citizen science and gardening and more.
Freddie, I think that's a, well, first of all, I think is a wise choice to postpone it for this town meeting because of all the changes that are still happening at the park. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion at town meeting floor about that. triangle / park as well. And I also think that it's a good idea to have us vote ahead of time, because my experience is that special town meeting, they open and shut it like within an hour, so people can't throw a lot of different articles in there. So from my standpoint, I think it's a smart move, and I think it would be good to do. But I'll open it up to the rest of the committee. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to put a placeholder for the Open Space Preservation Commission's application for the, what are we calling it? The St. Mark's Park
No, this is for the library,
Library?
pollination preservation habitat,
As
phase 2
Freddie
of what
said.
we've already started, so.
As Freddie said, is there a motion?
So moved.
Yeah, that was 2 moves, I think. Is there one?
I'll change
second?
mine to a second. How about that?
Okay, does that work, Betsy? I can see her nodding her head.
Yes, it's all good. Got it.
Any discussion on that one?
Did we call it the Pollination Preservation Project?
Yes,
The PPP, okay.
well,
Or is it Pollination Preservation Habitat
Habitat,
Project?
much better. I knew I missed a word there. Thank you.
take the minutes, Mark, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Just taking notes. Sorry.
Yes,
Excellent. So we had a motion and a second and a little discussion. I'll go as in order as I see everyone. Jen,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
and Andrew is a yes. Great, excellent.
thank
So
you, we
next item-
appreciate your support and know that you still have to review the project application, but this is a big step. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is, let's see, project updates to Historical Society. Is there anyone in the waiting room from Historic? Do you see anyone, Jen?
There's no one in the waiting room at all.
No one in the waiting. All right. So I'll give everyone an update because, Ann, I know you reached out asking me, hey, is someone going to be there? I had talked, I got a call from Michael a little over a week ago. He was all concerned that they'd overdrawn for funds to pay the archivist. Said, let me check it out. I said, at the same time, where's, how things coming on the memorandum of understanding or the letter with the town, the selectmen on the flag. He said that is all up to the selectmen now. It's their deal. They didn't like what I wrote. They're supposed to come back to me. And I said, well, actually, no, the warrant article was, and the project is yours. It's not the selectmen who have to come up with the wording or get this signed. It's in your ballpark. You need to get it done. So I think when I position it from the standpoint of the project was a society / Michael project, he saw that responsibility fell on or was allocated to him for that. So he was, I think he understood it at that point. He said he would come tonight to give an update on where everything stood for the archiving. He did send an email. I don't know. I don't think it went to everyone though, right? And did you get it? Did he send it to you too?
Yeah, I did get it. And then in response to Freddie's email tonight, he then forwarded the update email to the committee. So
Okay, so
as
everyone's
of,
good.
yeah, as of, I don't know, 5 o'clock, I think the committee probably has it in their email.
Okay. Historical Society project. Did everyone see it?
Yes. The last sentence, I believe it's the last sentence. Second, well, turning the flag over to the BOS upon dissolution is a non-starter from our perspective without sufficient guarantees, et cetera. I just have to say I'm a little troubled by that. This isn't something that can be conditioned. This isn't something that's up for discussion. We don't have the power to overturn town meeting, nor does he. The responsibility has been put in our lap to sort of enforce the warrant article. And I'm starting to get a little frustrated with the situation. It's been, what, a year and a half now? And the language that needs to be approved is right in the warrant article. It's literally 2 sentences on a piece of paper. Conduct the vote, sign the document, we're done. And we keep banging our heads against the wall here, and nothing's getting done.
Yes. So there are about, Freddie, what are the invoices left to pay that he said closes out the entire project? It's like $5,000 or $4,000. Is that right? Somewhere in that neighborhood that we haven't paid yet.
I recently received 2 invoices, and I think it was on that document I sent. Let me pull it up. So I've been crunching so many numbers today, I can't keep track in my head. I think it's over 5, maybe closer to 6.
6,790.
Yep.
Okay, so 6,790 that needs to get paid that we haven't paid yet. And then Michael said it's pretty much closed out. But we haven't seen that there is signage anywhere posted saying that it was funded by the CPC. That's another thing that has to get done. So it's not technically closed out. So I think there are a couple things we could probably do. We could ask town council, hey, how can we get this done? We, ask him to get involved to get it, the documentation for the memorandum of understanding that it's going to come back to the town, get that signed. My personal view is we lose a lot of leverage as soon as we pay everything. That's me. $6,000 is a lot of money for an archivist, I think, considering what's been done. And otherwise, I mean, we could pay it and say, and then try to figure out how we still get the flag committed back to the town. But like I said, I think we lose leverage if we have already paid the bill. So kind of putting it out there to get a gauge from the committee, what everyone's thinking, how we proceed. Originally, like I said, Michael said he would be here tonight, or he'd send someone, but then this evening sent the notification that he forgot he had a committee meeting with the society, and everyone in the society would be there. So that's why we're left with an.
Can I just throw something in there to the
Yep.
conversation? I think, Benjamin, you said it's been a year and a half. It's been 3 years.
Has it been
This
that
was
long?
passed at 2019's annual town meeting, and it was the requirement was for the affidavit to be signed before the flag was restored. And the first, without a conversation, we got the bill for the flag restoration without the agreement being signed, and this committee has never chooses to not pay a bill. So we paid it, and I guarantee you that was done in 2020, and we've asked consistently about this. And so I'm just saying it's not been more consistently last fall when you had him in here, you said you wanted it, the affidavit, and we've received more bills since then that we've paid. And now there's these 2 new ones. You do have an old account that we didn't close out. This is going back from 2017. And the reason was because I got an invoice that was more than that amount. And I didn't think we should, there were two separate projects that I should split an invoice between two separate projects, and the old one needed signage. So there's 1,000, it's on that spreadsheet, sorry. There's over $1,000 left in that one. So you could literally, if you chose to, you could pay that much out of that account because it was the same type of work that was done. But I think you also don't necessarily want to close out an account that we don't have an understanding of what was spent on that $20,000 project. There's never been a report. Sending a letter is not the same thing as coming before the committee and reporting on what was done. But I'm just saying that's another option. But I did want the whole committee to know that town council is involved because he had reached out. I received a letter, an email requesting the documentation on the project. This was since our last meeting. So it had to send all the applications and minutes and the MOUs. So, I don't know where that is, but that wasn't started from this committee. Maybe I assumed it was based on the negotiations or non-negotiations of conversations. So I'm just putting those options out there.
Andrew, I like your idea of getting some clarification from town council. I think only because of the wording of the warrant article, I don't know how the law works in a situation like this, but I almost wonder, is there some sort of a presumptive acceptance of the terms of the warrant article when they accepted the funds from CPC? If not, the things sort of fundamentally change with this latest email from Michael, where he's flatly refusing to honor the terms of the warrant article. And he puts us in a tough spot because, it's our responsibility to enforce that. So I'm with you that I don't think we can spend any more money out of that account. I feel like our hands are tied in that. Nor should we spend money from other accounts on work that's described within this particular warrant article. I hate to be put in this situation, but I feel like we were put in this situation, and now we've got a responsibility here we have to live up to.
I agree. Get town council involved. There may be a remedy, we just don't know, but he agreed to it. He's reneging. That's basically the bottom line.
So,
Sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's a matter of he agreed to it. It's the terms of the warrant article that the town voted through, and that's what the town wants done with it, right? So it's not even about him or the Historic Society. This is the warrant article. It went through town council. It was voted, approved, and now we need to finish executing it, right? So
I think just to add to that, I believe the memorandum of understanding for this project also contained that stipulation, and that was in fact signed, I believe.
yeah,
Which-
Yeah, the MOU. Yep.
So my take on this, so I agree with you guys in terms of, at this point, that stipulation is kind of between town council and the Historic Society. But for the work that has been done and invoiced and is, basically pending payment, I agree that it takes away our leverage if we pay those invoices before this is resolved. But at the same time, that's someone's livelihood. That someone's depending on that income. And, if this has already been held up for as you said, Andrew, 3 years, who knows how long it's going to take to resolve. And, I just don't feel right withholding income from, the person who is, due this money for work that she's done. The stuff that's going on between Michael and, council, that's not really her problem. So I just have a problem with holding, not paying those invoices essentially. But everything else, I agree that, this affidavit needs to get done, and, I support what was approved at town meeting in, the language in the warrant article. And it seems as though our efforts on the committee are not, being successful. So, what's the next step? And, I think that's town council.
Yeah,
Regarding the payment, just to throw it out there, the society, I'm guessing, is not exactly awash in funds, but I'm sure they have some. And the work was done, not in accordance with the terms of the warrant article, because this affidavit was supposed to be signed first. So the society, the whole point I'm getting is that the society can pay her. And because this is for work that was approved under a warrant article approved by town meeting, we then are allowed to reimburse that payment later on. Normally we can't reimburse, but because it's already been approved by town meeting, we can in this case. So the society could I agree with you, Annie. Somebody is getting caught in the middle here that didn't cause this, but I think there is a solution. I think the society is going to have to make her whole, and then when we work this out with town council, CPC can then reimburse. It's the only
Okay.
solution that I can see. Hopefully,
Yeah,
work
I
out.
definitely appreciate and understand that side of it as well. So I get it.
so I've heard definitely talk to town council. Is everyone on board with holding off? I heard majority sounds like it's in agreement with holding off on making any payments till we hear from town council or our next meeting at least. And letting Michael know that, hey, until this gets done, we're going to talk to town council and we're not making any other payments until we get this signed. Either town council tells us differently, go ahead and pay it, or we get the signed memorandum of understanding, then we'll make the payment. So did I summarize it correctly?
I think you did.
I think it's the addendum, not the MOU. We have the signed MOU, but we don't have the
Yeah, it's
addendum.
a
about the
memorandum of
payments.
understanding, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I think that covers that one. Review timeline for annual town meeting. Freddie, was that just a placeholder?
That is in case anything's coming up that you need to take care of between now and town meeting. Yes, kind of a placeholder, like sometimes things happen. I don't know. Do you need to do anything between now and town meeting to be prepared?
Hmm.
Oh, just, and that you can follow up with. We usually tell the applicant they need to be, and the only one here would be Recreation, that they need to be prepared to attend the advisory committee and the selectmen's meeting to go over the warrant articles, but they attend with it's the CPC's project, so the CPC will try to schedule a time that works for both. And I would imagine it's Andrew or another member would go with Recreation for that review. That's the only other thing that's, I think, coming up.
Great. Thank you. Chairman's report. Two things I want to say. One, I know from the last meeting, and I already talked to Mark about this. Mark specifically asked if Brian Valentine would come and talked about the 500,000 we got in interest / investments. Brian could not make it tonight, but he did say he'd attend our next meeting and bring the investment manager as well to help explain it. So I didn't want anyone to think I was blowing that off. We did not forget. So that'll be coming up. Speaking of which, Betsy, do we have a next meeting already planned?
Yes, hold on. Hold on. Look at my calendar. 14th of April, Thursday.
14th of April.
But also there was discussion if you wanted to meet before the annual meeting. if you felt it necessary, then we schedule something an hour before the meeting.
You know, meetings in May, right?
Oh, yes, sorry. I still have it on my calendars this month. Never mind. I'll go
Wait.
back to sleep. Thank you.
No problem, no problem.
Can you
Um,
say, did we approve meetings through May? Were there other
Uh,
meetings besides April 14th?
Let me see. Yes, May 19th. And I think we don't have any in June or July or August right now. Yeah, that was it, the last one. Unless somebody else has something, but I don't have anything past May.
okay.
Oh, wait, no,
Well-
excuse me, sorry, June 9th,
June 9th.
June 9th. And then July and August are off.
Okay,
And yeah, that's it.
sounds good.
I have those.
The second item I want to talk about is there was a discussion Ben and I had with Dorian Trzynski around the Affordable Housing Trust funds. As I think I mentioned before, there was a possibility of a warrant article going to town meeting, basically asking town meeting to force us to release the funds to the Affordable Housing Trust. These are my words. You know, Ben and I talked with the Shopsy about it and said, look, you know, the money's there. We're not trying to hold up things, but we're asking for a plan. So we've asked the Affordable Housing Trust to actually tell us what their plan is to use the money, because it has to fall in line with the CPC guidelines. And we can, you know, just call up Carla and have them move the money. There's a couple of other changes or new items that need to be in there, like and an MOU specifically too for that. But the plan was the big thing that was holding it up. So I'm working with the Affordable Housing Trust to get that written up properly to present to us so that we could feel comfortable that there's a adequate plan to move the money over. So that was the only other update I had. Questions?
So just so I'm clear, there'll be a plan, and as long as it passes muster, we'll transfer the money to an account, and it'll be
Available for them to move. And like, I haven't asked for a detailed plan of like, we want to buy X house on this street or whatever. But is it, hey, we're going to partner with a developer and do something big, and this is what we're going to do? Or are you going to just buy a house, an individual house, add it to the stock, sell it, take whatever funds come back, and then flip it again and keep doing that? We haven't even gotten that. So just what their plan is to use to make sure it falls in line with the CPC guidelines. So some towns have gotten in trouble where they've used the funds that have, from what I've heard in a neighboring town, they purchased a property and they turn it into a retail store, which doesn't work. You know, so I just asked for something that said, hey, what are you going to do with the money?
and not to suggest anything, but once it's in that account, and it's going to be used presumably in accordance with this plan. Is that correct?
That's the understanding. Yeah. And there has to be,
And if it isn't, who is the watchdog of that?
so they have to report out to us and to the state what they use the CPC funds for.
All right,
So,
good.
and on top of that, Carla has to create an individual account that's just for the CPC funds. So there's going to be, it has to be kept separate.
So
This is
Sounds
that's
like
it.
under the authority.
Say,
Sorry.
So-
Just, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I just want to be careful. I don't want to go too deep into, I was just trying to give an update on what we did. We can definitely add this on our next topic. I don't want to violate open town meeting or town meeting law. Open
I was
meeting.
just gonna throw out there, not to deliberate, just as a piece of information, we can do this under a warrant article that was passed back in 2014 that authorized the disbursement of this money, which is why we can just conduct the vote and release the money without having to go to town meeting.
Right, well, there were actually 3 warrant articles that total up from, I think it was 13, 15, like 17 might have been the last one, but there were 3 of them that were out there that said, yes, we'll put the money or make the money available, but we never got a plan of how they were going to use the money, so the money never moved. So anyway.
I just wanted to make a comment that's not deliberating, but since this was passed and it was 2008, 9, and 11, so it's been a while, the state legislature made changes. And I can forward you those requirements because the money must be some of the stuff Andrew was talking about, and there's more to it. So I can send you that before your next meeting, so you can bone up on what the requirements are for those funds now.
That'd be great. Thank you. All right, next item, minutes. Any questions on the minutes? Is there a motion? People reading the minutes?
I can make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 1st, 2020.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Well, second.
Sorry, I think I might have missed them. When were they sent out?
I think
Was
Betsy
it-
sent
I
one
sent them
yesterday.
out on Monday.
Monday.
I should have, I know Jen got them. I can't believe that I
Annie's
wouldn't have
not
sent them
on
to her.
there. Yep.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, I'm sorry, Annie. I
Oh,
don't know
no,
how that
no
happened.
worries. I'll just abstain from discussion.
All right, I'm sorry. Okay.
No worries.
So there was a second with Mark, is that right?
I did. And I did get them.
Go as I see people. Ann? You're gonna abstain?
Yeah, I'm abstaining.
Ben?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
And Andrew is a yes. Great. So our next meeting is April 14th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, so I think, Mark, you're seconding Ben's motion.
I second Ben's motion.
And the only discussion I had was I want to say thank you to Betsy and Freddie. Freddie, you did great work getting everything ready for tonight. Keep things moving. Thank you, appreciate it. And let's see, as I see people, Mark,
Yes.
Ann,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
and Andrew is a yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks a
you,
lot.
Jen, for sending that warrant article. You are awesome.
No problem.
Yeah, and thanks, Jen, for running the meeting too. That you're
Oh,
really
Yes,
good.
thank you.
Yeah, very good.
No problem.
All right, everyone have a great evening.
Good night,
You
guys.
too. Good night, everyone.
Good night.